Good morning, everyone. My name is Kell Julliard, and I'd like to welcome you to Mind the Moment Tuesdays. Really happy to be here with you this morning. So, uh, just to give you a brief overview of the session, we're going to talk about our theme for the day a little bit. Then we'll do a 12-minute practice. We'll check in around what we just did and unpack that a bit. We'll have a few announcements about upcoming events, and then we'll close. So just to let you know a little bit more about me, for those of you who are new, I've been teaching mindfulness and meditation for over 15 years now, a lot in healthcare settings to health professionals. I've published 4 research studies on health professional teaching mindfulness in those kinds of hospital and clinic settings. And and I teach for the Tergar meditation community as well, their Joy of Living program. So as always, we have a question for you this morning. And this one is pretty straightforward. When you hear the word equanimity, what words or phrases come to mind? So just go ahead and type this in the chat. Whatever words or phrases come to mind when you think about what equanimity means to you. And while you're reflecting on that, let me just say there's so much these days that can knock us off balance emotionally, send us into a tailspin. So much going on around the world, maybe even in our local environment. And of course, social media and all the news media just feed this because it gets viewers if they get people all riled up. So so cultivating equanimity is a super important skill for us right now, especially as we head into this election season. So I see in the chat, peace toward others. Oh, I love that. Balance. I'll wait a few more moments for folks to type in whatever comes to mind. Part of the value of doing the practice we're going to do today is that by doing this practice, we actually cultivate equanimity. We actually enable it to spread out into our lives when we need it the most. It can actually become a habit of mind. I see also in the chat now a goal for me to work toward. I think that's probably true, certainly for me, maybe even for all of us. When I think of some words that came to mind for me, and thanks to the magic of the internet, I actually have more than I usually do. Acceptance. I see in the chat calmness, great. Equality, a sense of relating equally to whatever comes up, to whoever is in our environment. Composure, calmness was said, presence of mind, serenity, level-headedness, being even-tempered, having self-possession. That's an interesting one, I think. Evenness of mind under stress, tranquility, collectedness, aplomb. There's a good one. And equilibrium. So these are all words that came to mind as I was reflecting on the what equanimity is. It's actually a multidimensional concept. And in this meditation, the foundation of the practice we're going to do today is really holding the intention, holding the wish that we and others can navigate life's ups and downs with balance, with acceptance, and extending our good wishes really to everyone. We can recognize in this space of equanimity what we can do in the face of life's challenges. Equanimity is not a passive thing. We can actually be quite active and still be equanimous. So maybe it opens a space where we can really see more clearly how to take action in a wise way in the face of challenges in our lives. Another important thing I want to emphasize before we move into our meditation is that with equanimity, we don't lose our warmth of heart, not if it's true equanimity. Equanimity is not indifferent, it's not disconnected or unengaged, it's not uncaring. It actually includes the loving kindness and compassion that are part of who we are. Now, when I use that word loving kindness, I'm one of the best ways of thinking about what that means is it's simply the wish to be happy for ourselves and others. So if we're expressing loving kindness for ourselves, for others, we're supporting our and their wish to be happy in whatever happiness means. Likewise, compassion is the wish to be free from suffering. So wishing compassion for ourselves and others, or having compassion for ourselves and others, really is holding the intention and being willing to spring into action to help alleviate suffering in some way. So you might think how these words resonate for you, what words really are meaningful for you in terms of loving kindness, happiness, compassion, freedom from suffering, so that we really support this warmth of heart as we move into equanimity. The other great thing about loving kindness and compassion, they help keep equanimity from turning into indifference. So we want to keep that warmth of heart alive as we move through life in a graceful way that has a quality of acceptance to it. Okay, so let's get ready to move into our practice. So take a little bit of time to check in with your body and find a posture that supports you in being present. Now, that could be standing or lying down, as well as sitting in a chair or on a cushion. But typically, the spine is aligned in an easy way if we're sitting in a chair, comfortably upright, and the body is relaxed. So these are the two key points of meditation posture: comfortably upright or aligned spine, body relaxed. But whatever posture supports presence for you, that's what you want to be in right now. And let's just let the mind and body rest as we're moving from maybe a space of more doing into a space of being, where we can really just let go and be present in this moment. And one of the ways we do that is just by recognizing that we're alive and aware here and now. Just noticing awareness itself. The awareness that's the essence of meditation is nothing special. It's the awareness that's with us in every waking moment. Ordinary awareness, just knowing we're aware. Notice now how awareness accepts everything that arises. When a sound is present, it arises in awareness. If your eyes are open, colors and shapes spontaneously arise. Body sensations, thoughts, feelings, memories, plans, responses to events in our environment, All of those just arise in awareness. Awareness has this quality of acceptance built into it. You could say awareness is a space of acceptance of what is. So just rest in this ordinary, effortless knowing that you're aware and alive here and now. Now you can have your eyes open or closed, whatever feels most comfortable and natural for you. And whenever you're meditating, if any challenging feelings arise, one good thing to do is, if your eyes are closed, open them, look around, feel your feet on the floor, ground yourself in the safety of this present moment. So to begin our practice of equanimity meditation, I'm going to ask you to imagine a place where it's easy for you to feel peaceful. It might be sitting by the ocean, or in a sunny glen in a forest, or looking out over a meadow, or perhaps there's a place in your home where you rest and relax. But just imagine yourself in that place in this moment. Imagination can often help us move into a state of mind that we're cultivating or wish to recognize in ourselves. Now I'm going to invite you to just place a slight smile on your lips. Let the corners of your mouth turn up in a very slight smile. And just feel whether that changes anything for you. It's amazing how the body can trigger states of mind. And by smiling just a little bit, it creates an inner smile, a peaceful inner smile. No need to hold on to that longer than feels natural. Just let the mind rest again in being present and aware in this moment. Now I'm going to invite you to softly and gently repeat a phrase to yourself. May I have equanimity. And really see if you can say this to yourself with a heartfelt wish. May I have equanimity. In these meditations where we use phrases, it can sometimes feel a little artificial or forced at the beginning. But I've been amazed if I just say this with sincerity to myself, how my heart sort of opens to this quality. And that quality begins to emerge. May I have equanimity. And I'm going to read a list of words. Find the one that really works for you today. See what resonates for you in this moment. May I have acceptance of what is. Equality toward myself and others. Composure. Calmness. Presence of mind. Serenity. Level-headedness. Self-possession. Evenness of mind under stress. Tranquility. Collectedness. Aplomb. Equilibrium. May I navigate life's ups and downs with balance, acceptance, and grace. May I navigate life's ups and downs with balance, acceptance, and grace. It's natural to get lost in thoughts and feelings. When you recognize this has happened, celebrate that you're back in the present moment and just return to your meditation. Softly, sincerely repeating that phrase to yourself. May I have equanimity. May I navigate life's ups and downs with balance, acceptance, and grace. Now take a moment to bring to mind someone you love, someone you like, and let's extend this wish to them with whatever word you feel is appropriate. Just softly or silently in your mind, repeat the phrase, may you have equanimity. May you navigate life's ups and downs with balance, acceptance, and grace. And now let's let go of these phrases, of this aspect of the meditation, and just rest again in open awareness, open presence, simply knowing you're aware in this moment. No need to block thoughts, feelings, sensations. No need to chase after them. Just let the mind and heart rest in this present moment. Okay, that concludes our meditation today. So I'd love it if you would share your experience of this practice in the chat, what came up for you, what it was like, anything at all. It can be very helpful to reflect on our meditation practice. It helps us deepen it and understand it better, to put it into words in some way. So I encourage you to do that in the chat. And if you have a question about the practice or a comment or an insight, please feel free to share that. So while you're doing that, I'm going to share something, which is a series that we've got coming up. And I've put the link to how to register for this in the chat. It's called Healthy Habits to Get the Most Out of Every Moment. So every Wednesday in September, so for 4 Wednesdays, the wonderful, delightful John Roberts and I are going to be leading this series and sort of using meditation and working with our minds to cultivate habits that help us get the most out of every moment at every phase of our life, in every stage of our life. So again, that's Wednesdays from 1 to 1:30. And if you go to the link I put in the chat, you'll be able to register for that, as well as find the link for the meditations tomorrow morning and Thursday morning. Okay, so I'll share a little bit about the practice, what I led, and hopefully we'll have a few more comments in the chat. I see one person found it wonderful, so that's always great to hear. But any kind of comment is welcome from you all. So I want to talk for a moment about this slight smile. There's such interesting research around this, that by just arbitrarily creating a little bit of a smile on your face, it affects your emotional state. And one particularly interesting study, they even had people hold a pencil in their mouths, which uses the muscles that we smile with. And even that created a slight positive shift in emotional state. So pretty interesting, right? I see a comment in the chat. This was a perfect way to start a very busy week. So get in the absolute right mind space to not feel overwhelmed and remind myself to take a step back. Thank you for that. Great, great insight. Ordinary awareness really stuck with me. Yeah, our ordinary awareness is a miracle. Neuroscientists have no explanation at this time for how chemical reactions and cells firing somehow is transformed into a lived experience of awareness. It is a remarkable thing, and it's ordinary and miraculous at the same time. For me, remembering acceptance is key, and the phrase was very helpful to me. Big transition, school week, super helpful as I discern things in life. Love that word discernment, because I think equanimity does help us discern and activate our wisdom as we move through our lives. And I do want to emphasize that equanimity is an inherent part of awareness, of this ordinary awareness. Those of you that have been coming regularly, I bet have already experienced this, but don't take my word for it. Just keep meditating. And as you recognize awareness, awareness being the essence of meditation, as you recognize awareness, when you just know you're feeling something, hearing a sound, see if there's more peacefulness and equanimity that is spontaneously present. It's like a little step back inside when we recognize awareness, so that we're not lost or absorbed or identified completely with any feeling or thought or emotion. So it creates a space around our experience, and that space is inherently peaceful, and it has inherent equanimity. So I'm seeing another comment in the chat, dealing with loved one's health. This gives me grace, but I often wonder if it comes across as aloofness. So this is where it's so important that we have that warmth of heart. And it doesn't have to be dramatic. I was talking with a person yesterday and just really listening. And she was like, wow, this conversation is so wonderful. And it's just because I feel like you're really hearing me. And in this space of equanimity, just by being present, that warmth of heart actually can shine through. And we don't have to do much of anything. Just by intending to be present in a caring way, it's there. So don't worry too much about coming across as aloof. If you're really present for another person, I think your warmth will shine through. It's really acceptance and love at every step, but less, maybe and less intense. Yes. And equanimity, as when we find ourselves struggling with things, if we have this habit of equanimity, it can really, really help. So again, equanimity helps us stay in balance. Our innate loving kindness and compassion keeps equanimity from moving into indifference. So such a useful thing in life. So I'm going to close with a suggestion to reflect on: in what situations do you most need equanimity in your life? And hold the intention of remembering to cultivate that. You can bring this practice into the flow of life. It doesn't have to be just on the cushion. You can do this in the moment. And by doing it in the moment, it comes to your aid when you most need it. So when you recognize your equanimity might be diminishing, just reflect on: what can I do to nourish it? Okay, well, not seeing any other comments in the chat, I'm going to say thanks so much for joining us. Check out the website I put there. Feel free to join us in these other sessions this week. And remember, 1 p.m. On Wednesday, tomorrow, for our first meditating at every stage of life. I see another comment in the chat. Mindfulness teacher Larry Ward refers to equanimity as being like the 100-year-old walnut tree in his backyard. Well, I'll carry that image with me through today. Thank you so much for posting that. And again, wonderful to be with you. I hope your week is full of equanimity, loving kindness, compassion, and joy. Be well now. Take care. Bye-bye.